A lot of students have been asking about how to make their character look like it's walking, so I thought I'd show you that. First thing to do is make sure that all your body parts are parented. So I'm going to select all my parts, and my body is going to be the parent. I'm going to select that last, Control P, and set parent to object. If you notice that your parts are moving when you parent them, you can select this object keep transform, and it should let everything stay where it is. So now if I select the body, all my body parts will follow, but I can still move or rotate my body parts independently of the body. So what I want to do now is set the rotation center of each of my parts, because if you notice, when I try to rotate the leg like it's going to walk, the top of the leg comes apart from the hip, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to use this 3D cursor to move this center up to the top of the leg. So I'm going to select the leg. I'm going to go into edit mode by hitting tab. I'm going to go, I can't see that top very well. You might be able to select it, but if you type Z on your keyboard, you can see through and maybe be able to get that view and select that top face of the leg. Z again will get you out of that. And then I'm going to snap this cursor to the top of the leg with Shift S, and then I want this cursor to selected. Then I'm going to go back out into object mode and set the origin, which is the center of the leg, to the 3D cursor. And now, if I try to rotate this leg, it rotates a little bit more like a normal leg. I'm going to do the same thing to the other leg, and then I'm going to talk about the arms. So very quickly for this leg, I select it. I'm going to tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to hit Z to select the top face. I'm going to Shift S to snap that cursor to that face. And then I'm going to do Z again to get out of that mode. Tab again, set origin to 3D cursor. And now both legs should have their center basically at the top, or their origin at the top. I tried a couple different things for the arms. I wasn't sure how it would work if I did the center of the top face of the arm. So I went ahead and tried that. So if I set the center to the top face of the arm and tried that, and it looked a little weird. So I tried setting it to this edge instead, and I think that worked a little bit better. That looks more like a normal arm, so I'll show you that real quick. I'll go ahead and reset this to the edge there. So I'm going to select that arm. I'm going to tab into edit mode. Instead of being in face select, which I was before, I'm going to go into edge select, and I'm going to find that edge. Then select that. I'm going to Shift S, select cursor to selected, tab again, back out into object mode. This is the same process, set origin to 3D cursor. And now you can see that my center is along that edge. And if I rotate that arm, it's now kind of attached at the shoulder there. So now we want to actually make a walk sequence. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my body, and I'm going to move it to where I want him to start. I'm going to go ahead and turn keyframing on, and let's scoot him back a little more. Okay, so I've made a keyframe for where he's starting, and then let's say about, I don't know, 3 seconds later or so, I want that person to be over here. So I'm going to keyframe the full movement first before I start worrying about moving his legs to make him walk. I'm going to just look at that and see if it seems fast enough or too slow. Okay, so that seems fine. So when I go back to the beginning, I want to think about, now what do I want the legs to look like when he starts walking? So I guess I'll have him start walking with this leg first. When you're rotating, you need to probably be careful about If you just do R here, it's going to rotate in kind of a funny way because it rotates based on your view, your current view. So I usually like to kind of get a side view here, and then he's going to start walking like this. So that's his first, how his leg is going to look at first. I'm going to go ahead and keyframe his other leg so it stays like this until I decide it's going to be different. So I'm going to click one of the arrows here. And then I'm going to go forward in time. So this leg has still stayed straight. I'm going to go back a little bit. Basically what I'm looking for is for this foot to stay here while he's moving forward until it's time for him to move that leg and take a step. Okay, well I kind of forgot where he started. Okay, so I want the foot to stay there approximately. So maybe around there or so. So if I rotate that leg, let's see how that looks. Kind of. So it's a little bit off, but it's pretty close. So then I also want this leg to start like put that foot down on the ground and then let the body move on. So if I think about what that would look like, I'm going to go ahead and move that guy about here. I'll have him put his foot down maybe a little bit before. I'll start having him put his foot down. So I'm going to go ahead and keyframe this like he was keeping his foot in the air for a minute. And then I'm going to have him start putting his foot down from that point. So, oops, I keyframed the wrong little thing. There we go. Okay, so now this guy is keeping his leg in the air. Now he's going to put it down as he keeps moving. And then his leg will be back at the end of it. So let's see if I can, so if I rotate that. And then this other leg should do kind of the same thing. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, so I have kind of a quick step there. So then this leg would go back down and sweep back, etc., etc. If I look at my animation view, I can see that I have a few keyframes. And I'm going to go ahead and collapse these. So I've already named the body. This must be, that must be the right leg. Okay. So once you have a full walk cycle, you can duplicate those keyframes. I don't quite have a full walk cycle yet because I don't have this leg starting in its back position and then taking a full stride. Well, maybe. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and box select my legs. So unselect everything. I'm going to box select. I'm going to ignore this first part because that wasn't quite what I wanted, although I might need one of those. I'm going to duplicate, and when I drag, it looks like it's doing that make everything freeze thing, but it's actually not. Okay, I feel like I'm going to need one of these, so let's see how that looks. Oh, look at that beauty. I did not need one of those. So one thing to watch for is to make sure that your spacing is approximately spaced out the same. So I'm going to go ahead and G to grab these frames that I have selected and move them apart just a little bit. Let's get a side view here. Oh my gosh. Okay. I guess he's going to walk the other way this time. I was looking at the other side. Okay. All right, not bad. Okay, so now my guy can walk a certain amount. I can now box select all of that, duplicate with Shift D, move it over, make sure that the spacing is about the same. And now he has even more steps. Although because my body stops walking here, he's actually going to keep moving his legs after he stops walking, or his legs will keep moving after his body stops moving. So let's just see what that looks like. So there we go. So if I wanted to, I could have him move farther. I could delete some of these keyframes. I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of manipulating here at the end so that he ends up, standing with both of his legs straight. That would be separate keyframes. But at least that kind of gives you the idea of how this works as far as making a character do a little bit of a walk cycle. Okay. All right, well, that's it for this one. Good luck with your walk cycles.